everybody. Today I am making up a quick batch of pickled sweet peppers because I have a whole bunch of sweet peppers that are going bad, and so whenever I have some veggies that I want to use up, I will pickle them really quickly. So I'm going to show you how you can do a really fast pickle. I love this with red onions particularly, so pickled red onions are delicious. But it's one of the fastest things to do when you've got veggies that are on their way out. You don't want to waste them, but you don't want to go, I have so many friends that have something going bad. So then they go buy $15 worth of ingredients to use the one thing that's going bad. I mean, don't get me wrong, I do that too. But that's not what this is about. So I'm just putting together equal parts vinegar and water, and I'm going to use rice vinegar for these pickled peppers. And then I'm going to bring it to a boil. And while I'm boiling it out, I'm going to just slice up my peppers. Good morning, Diana. If you are here and you're new, let me know where you're from. I always love to know where everyone's from. I went out to dinner last night. So this is a cup of rice vinegar. Hang on, I gotta get water. I went out to dinner last night with my grandparents. So equal parts water and rice vinegar to an authentic German restaurant. And it was so good. They had pork schnitzel, which was, I love the word schnitzel, the size of my face. It was enormous. They were humongous things. And then, of course, the red cabbage and German potato salad is one of my favorite foods. Have you ever had hot German potato salad? Tell me if you ever had, because it's amazing. Okay, so we have equal parts vinegar and water in here. 1 cup water, 1 cup vinegar. I'm going to put a little bit of sugar, a little bit of salt, and then I'm just going to let that boil. Okay, so I'm going to put about a teaspoon of salt. And everybody has a little bit of a preference onto, how much sugar they like to have, how much salt they like to have. I found that this is a really good basic recipe to just start with, and then once you get the hang of it, you can tweak it a little bit. Okay, so this is super easy, you guys. All we have is vinegar and water. You can use white vinegar. You do not have to use rice vinegar. Plain old white vinegar works just fine. And then I'm using just cheap old mason jars. If you don't have mason jars, which first of all, we even use these for glasses. That's how redneck we are. I also want to say redneck. But if you don't have mason jars, you could totally just use some Pyrex, containers, as long as they can hold up to heat. Totally fine. These aren't going to last very long on your fridge. You're going to eat them pretty quick, so it doesn't really matter what you use for a container. Good morning, Linda. Linda McMickle from Russellville, Arkansas. Whew, there's a mouthful. Tammy Rushing from Chicago, Illinois. Good morning, McMickville. I hope I said that correctly. Arkansas. I don't know that I've ever been to Arkansas. I have been to Illinois, have been to Chicago. I was in Chicago for a conference for a junior chef, master chef, and we stayed at some freaking gorgeous hotel along the river, right next to Navy Pier. It was beautiful. Okay, so I have this in here, and I'm gonna have this boil up a little bit. I'm not gonna actually use sugar in here. I'm gonna use honey. So hold tight, because I'm using those peppers. I'm going to just use a little bit of honey because I'm on this kick of trying to avoid white processed sugar. That noise was unfortunate, wasn't it? I apologize. So anyways, last night I went out with my grandma and my grandpa. I'm going to turn you guys just bed. And we went to this German restaurant. The whole point of what I was going to tell you guys, though, was my grandma had watched the Facebook Live yesterday where we had made a pie crust. Anyways, she was so impressed with how many of you guys are from all over the world. And I was like, Grandma, that's a normal thing. Okay, so I have this bag of sweet peppers that we had bought to stuff for football on Sunday. Never happened. There was all kinds of food around the house that we never did. So I don't want to waste them, and they go bad really quickly in my fridge because they're from Aldi. I love Aldi, but the produce goes pretty quickly when I buy stuff from them. So I'm going to pickle them up real quick. And then I like to use pickled peppers, pickled onions, pickled anything, frankly, in salads. Delicious in salads, but also really good for burgers and just adding a little something. They don't last very long in our house. Good morning, Sandra from Tennessee. How are you? So last night we went to this, I was just saying, we went to this beautiful German, not beautiful, but an authentic German restaurant where The beer steins, this is not a sharp knife. That's not cool. The beer steins were like the size, like they're huge, you know. I don't know why I did that, but. Good morning, Sarah from Dallas, Texas. I'm making quick pickled onions, peppers today, sweet peppers. And I have 1 cup of water, 1 cup of rice vinegar, a little sugar, and a little bit of honey just boiling. And that's pretty much all we're going to do. I'm going to slice these up. You can slice them as thin as you like, as thick as you like. I like to slice them fairly thin because I like to put them on burgers sometimes, and I don't like to, you know, have a problem with trying to get them off the burger. My knife is not doing the job today. I think all my good knives are being washed. There we go. And then once these are sliced up, I'm just going to throw them in the jar. This works really well for pretty much any kind of veggie. You could do this with asparagus, you can do this with carrots. I do it a lot with red onion. Anytime you have a little bit, and you totally can mix them. So you can, you know, if you've got 1 red onion and you've got 1 carrot, there's no reason why you can't put all of it together in one little bit. Okay, so this is boiling already. And I'm just going to turn that down and let it stay in a low boil until I'm ready for it. Because I want to get these sliced up and ready to go in the jars. Now, I am not doing any kind of a canning process with this. This is just going to be poured into the jars, closed up nice and tight, popped in the fridge, and after, tonight, I could take them out and eat them if I wanted to. I like to let them wait for a couple days so that they really get that good flavor. But you can totally, if you're impatient, go ahead and go for it. And I'm eyeballing this liquid. Usually it's about 2 cups of veggies to what is about 2 cups of liquid. But I may have to make more because I have a whole big bag of sweet peppers. So I was asking if anyone has ever had hot German potato salad. It is one of my favorite foods. I adore it. But it is just a strange flavor, and if you've never had it, it is like a, oh, it's hard to explain. It's like vinegary potatoes, and I'm all about vinegar. I love vinegar. But they had it last night at this German restaurant, and it was so good. And I need to get a recipe and make you guys a recipe for that because it's one of my favorite things. So I have zero idea my heritage. I'm American, I'm a mutt, I don't really care. But I swear for how much I love German food, I must have some German in me because I love it. Although I also love Indian food and Asian food. Don't know. So anyways, we did that last night. And then last night we played trivia. My daughter's boyfriend hosts, they call it Trivia Mafia here in Minnesota. It's a company that does trivia at all the local bars and restaurants and all that good stuff, and he's a host. And so we went over to where he was hosting and played trivia, and they had half bottle of wines at this place last night. So my daughter and I, can you believe I have a daughter that is old enough to drink? Oh, I can't even believe it sometimes. It's just crazy. We had some wine and played trivia. And I was able to contribute a lot on trivia last night, which was awesome. One of the questions, guys, you tell me if you know this. You probably will because you're my people. One of the questions was, what's the name of the series that's coming to TV based off of the pen-named author Carolyn Keene and a series? Does anybody know who that would be? Carolyn Keene? And the character that she wrote about. One of the books was The Case of the Hidden Clock. Does anybody remember that? Paulette, you remember making it in your 8th grade home ec class. Would that be German potato salad that you made in 8th grade? I talk about too many things and sometimes I forget which thing we're talking about. But anyways, I knew that, and I knew a question about Cardi B. Does anybody even know who Cardi B is? Cardi B is a rapper, and I knew the answer to the question. I was like, yep. It was fun. It was fun. I don't know how many of you guys are into trivia. And I'm not really a trivia buff, but I do enjoy it. Not always. My mother had a recipe for hot German potato salad when I was young. It was awesome. It was bacon in it and vinegar. Yes, exactly. And love it. I love it. And it's been a while since I had it. And so I was reminded of it again. And now I'm like on a mission to go try all the places that have German potato salad. But it's a vinegary, warm thing. I don't know how to explain it. And then it's got bacon in it, and it's just, oh, so good. I love it. Lorna, good morning, Laura. Freezing cold Scotland. Oh, I'm sorry. Here in Minnesota, we actually have an absolutely gorgeous day. It's about 70 degrees, perfect fall day, and I'm hoping to get outside after a while today. So I'm making quick pickled sweet peppers. You could use any kind of leftover veggies you got laying around that you need to use up. It only takes, as long as it takes to chop, is pretty much all it takes. And I have 1 cup of vinegar, 1 cup of water that I brought to a boil with a little bit of honey and a little bit of salt. And I'm just chopping these veggies up. I'm going to take a break here and put these in. Good morning, Pandora. I think I said that correctly. From Ohio, good morning. Now, I like to use these jars when I'm making a lot. And then I also like to use these smaller jars because when we open them, I don't want it to open up a whole big jar and then it goes bad quickly. So we also use these smaller jars. So I'm just going to throw some of these in here. And you want to leave enough space on the top. So about 1/4 of an inch. It's kind of tricky with these jars because they're a little weird shaped. But. And then I'm also going to throw in a few garlic cloves. Just to add a little flavor, because these are going to sit in the fridge. I think these will probably last us a couple weeks. So I'll throw in some garlic. You could throw in, if you have any fresh thyme, I like to use fennel. If you have any of those kind of herbs laying around, this is perfect for them. Throw it in with there. Throw it in with there. Throw it in with it. I'm struggling with this pepper. There we go. Rachel, good morning. Rachel from North Dakota. I am making quick pickled peppers today. We have 1 cup of vinegar, 1 cup of water that's boiling up, and I'm just chopping up these little sweet peppers. I'm going to put them in jars, and that'll be the end of it. It's really fast, really easy. We're also talking about hot German potato salad and how good that is. If you've never had that, get it on your radar to try it. It's so delicious. Also, did anyone figure it out? Carolyn Keene was the author of what series? You guys are my people. You should know this. I have the entire box, the entire series. Well, no, not almost the entire series. I ran across it at a garage sale one time, and I had to buy the whole thing. I have this idea in my head that I'm going to take a week off, go to some sort of a tropical location, bring the whole set with me, drink margaritas, and read the whole set. I don't think that's going to happen, but that's on my wish list. Sounds delicious. Good morning from Magnolia, Arkansas. Beautiful name. Although I'm going to bet you everyone thinks of Magnolia Market now when they hear that name, don't they? And Joanna Gaines. I sure do. So how many of you are familiar with German food? I am obviously from Minnesota, Swedish. I kind of grew up with German food, but even I still love to go to authentic German restaurants because they just, for one thing, they serve a ton of food. Like it's ridiculous how much food they serve. In fact, I have leftovers for lunch. I'm super excited. I forgot. I have leftovers. The amount of cabbage is incredible. Then we had schnitzels, and we had, oh, I'm going to say it wrong. The little potato noodles, what are they called, guys? They're not schnitzels, and that's why it's on my brain. Oh, I forget what they're called. You can find the link in the visitor post. Carole King movie series. Carolyn Keene wrote a series of books that is being turned into a television series. And one of them would be The Case of the Old Clock. Her sidekick's name was Ned. Nancy Drew. Yes, it's Nancy Drew. How many of you guys remember that? That was my that was my thing. Back with Laura Ingalls Wilder, and what else? What else was it? The Chronicles of Narnia series. How many of you guys did that? And then later, of course, my kids grew up with Harry Potter and all that, but I sure didn't. Nancy Drew is big deal. Pierogies, not pierogies either. It started with an S, I'm almost positive. And that's why I think it's messing with me, because I think... Spätzle! Yeah, it was Spätzle, thank you. It was Spätzle. And the little potato noodles, I think is what it is, isn't it? I'm pretty sure. And then they had this delicious... My dogs are absolutely crazy because I have the windows open. And I have the front door open with the screen door locked so they can see out. The only problem with them seeing out is that now they can bark at all the other dogs. Your granddaughter likes the series, the Nancy Drew series. Yeah, it's really fun. It's really clean. I really liked it. Oh, where am I going? I'm so used to going backwards when I get stuff. But, okay, I'm going to show you guys. Some of you guys have been around for a while. You can kind of see behind me what we've gotten accomplished in the kitchen area, well, the mudroom entry. So behind me, can you see the beam now? Right there. That was a beast. A beast. So it's not at all level. It was just a mess, right? But we got it framed up, and we're going to put some trim on it and make it pretty. We decided to paint it. Good morning, Tammy. And make that gorgeous. And then can you see right there, we got the whole ceiling beadboarded, and down all the sides are all done. The door is in. See? There's a door. And what you don't know is that back there all the flooring is up off the floor. I'm actually standing on the only flooring in the whole kitchen because we're pulling the whole kitchen up, putting the flooring in all the whole spaces. So we've actually gotten pretty far, and it's on my mission this week to finish getting the floor ready for the flooring, because the flooring is being shipped right now. We're working with Armstrong Flooring. They're one of the sponsors of our one room challenge, so we're really excited about that. And then, but I'm hoping to get the space painted, or the walls painted, this weekend. So we'll see if that works. Okay, I'm going to show you what we're going to do now. I'm going to set this aside. Set aside all of my pepper mess. All right, so here's my jars of peppers. This is still boiling a little bit. Remember, we have 1 cup of water, 1 cup of vinegar in there, and a little bit of honey and a little bit of salt. So I'm going to take cloves of garlic. This is just what I have laying around. You could totally use herbs. You could totally use onion, whatever. I'm not even going to cut this. I'm just popping it in just like that. This is just the lazy way of getting your using up your veggies. I'm going to put about 3 in each of these jars. And then I'm not even hardly, we're not going to eat this, of course. That's just for flavor. So, you know, you don't have to be all super amazing about how well you peel it. You just don't want to have garlic peel floating around in your stuff. All right, use those ones. Did you guys know when you have a big old chunk of garlic and you want to break off some, slam it on the counter and it will break apart. All right, so we got 1, 2. How come it always takes so long when I am trying to do it in front of other people? Have you guys had that happen to you, or you know, you're used to doing something very quickly, but it never fails that when you go to do it in front of other people, it takes forever? Remember this conversation we had the other day about when a recipe calls for 3 cloves of garlic? Which one do you count? This one. The answer is always this one. This one's huge. I'm going to actually have to cut this one because it won't fit in my jar. Okay, and then the only thing you want to have, if you have it, and if you don't, just be really careful, is a funnel. Oh, for Pete's sake. Guys, stop watching right now because you're watching me and that means I can't get this to work. Just because you're watching. Okay, thanks. Now I get it. Okay, thanks for not watching. I appreciate that. Okay, I'm going to take this one out of here. Put that one in here. So the only thing left is a funnel. I just have to find my funnel. Because I make a mess. So I'm going to use a funnel. I'm going to take my liquid. Remember, 1 cup of water, 1 cup of vinegar, a little bit of honey, a little bit of salt. And I'm just going to fill this jar. I have to go slow because I always overfill and make a mess. Okay? I'm trying to see if I can get away with this. I think I'm going to have to make another batch because I don't have quite enough for all these peppers. Yeah. So I have almost enough. I'm just going to make up a really quick little batch to fill out this last jar. And so this one here is done. And so all I'm going to do is close this up, pop it in the fridge, and maybe, yes, this is garlic. And probably tonight I could open it if I wanted to. I'm going to at least wait for it to cool. Tomorrow or the next day is the best time. And what will happen is actually the jar you open last will be the very best jar. So I'm actually going to throw in some ground thyme. If I had fresh thyme, that would be the ultimate thing. Give this a proper stir with my knife. Kids at home, don't do what I'm doing. All right, and that's it. You put the lid on this guy, pop it in the fridge, and you will have yourself some pickled peppers in all of 3 days without any canning need at all. Whoever still cans, do it this way. Although this doesn't last all winter, so there is that. All right, Lisa, I'm also half Irish. Blurton is Irish. I've not been fortunate enough to have much German or Irish dishes being from Tennessee. True. I've had many Southern and wild game that is delicious. I love Southern, and we do have a lot of wild game up here. And we do a lot of Scandinavian baking and cooking. My husband his mother is Swedish, half Swedish. There's a lot of Swedish in that family. And his grandmother, which I spent a lot of time with his grandmother, Swedish, and she just, everything she did was Swedish without even realizing she did it. It was just all Swedish. So I learned a lot of cooking from her back in the day. And then of course we have, when I worked as a teenager, they had what is called a spelt fry, or lutefisk. Also, is anyone familiar with lutefisk? If you've ever worked anywhere that does lutefisk, it's made from lye, and they soak it in lye forever, and it stings to no end. It's kind of disgusting, I'm not gonna lie. Not my favorite thing. But people up here, they love it, they go for it like crazy, and I think it's partly to do with memories. You know how many of our foods we maybe don't actually like, but we just love the memory that's associated with them? I think that's part of it. And I'm okay with that. I'm totally okay with that because I do the same thing. A little bit of salt in here too. I'm not going to put any more honey in here because it is going into a jar that already had a little bit of honey in it. So equal parts water, vinegar, little salt, little sugar. Boil it up, put it into your jar filled with your sliced veggies. Add some aromatic herbs of some sort. I got garlic in mine, onion could go in. And close it up, stick it in the fridge, and you're done. It's that easy. And I'm going to go have my leftover German food for lunch today. All right, you guys, that's all I got for you. Tomorrow I'll be back at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. We're going to do pie decorating. And I'm kind of not looking forward to it because I'm not going to be as good as most of you guys. So I'm like kind of embarrassed. But I'm going to do it anyways because some of you might still love to know. Okay? All right, I'll talk to you guys later. Thanks for being here. Bye.